Okay, Taurus, you guys are up. This is your general reading for October 2019. This is for Taurus sign, the moon, and rising. And as always, it's a general reading, so not everything may apply to you, or it may apply in different ways for different people. And if you would like to schedule an individual reading with me, you can do that by clicking the link to my calendar, which I will put in the comments. Okay, let's see. What do we have going on for Taurus? There we go. Okay, Taurus. So, at the center of whatever situation you have going on this month for October, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of frustration, or there may have been frustration leading up to this month, maybe still a little bit of frustration during the month of October about things kind of not going your way or the way you had hoped or thought or planned or whatever, and having to kind of walk this fine line between being aware enough to recognize what's not working so that you can do something about it, but not cross the line over into just this loop of negativity and focusing only on the negative. Okay. Oh, nice. Awesome. Okay, so, yeah, so there's also this feeling of being overwhelmed for Taurus, like a lot going on, a lot to have to deal with, like juggling so many things all at the same time, feeling overwhelmed. We'll pull more cards. But again, like whenever that comes up, always the thing is like make sure that you're delegating what you can and asking for help when you need to, because there's this feeling of just being overwhelmed, having so much going on, or even maybe just having so many options, like which to choose, right? But there's also this thing, like if things aren't going well or you're focusing on the negative, then there's this tendency of overwhelm that can come with that as well. Okay, but it's okay. And the reason why, I'm glad. So a lot of this may be like coming to an end quickly, or leading up to October. This is what you may have been feeling. And this may just be the beginning of October, because as we move through this, it starts with the overwhelm. Then you have this like, okay, so King of Rods, this indicates like a business accomplishment. So for those of you who own your own businesses, there may be some kind of major accomplishment like happening soon in October at the beginning, or maybe you're just coming off of one at the end of September. And in some cases, this could be for, an accomplishment at work, when you don't have your own business, but you actually go to a job. So some type of accomplishment, feeling of accomplishment, despite the overwhelm, maybe after the overwhelm, then you feel accomplished. Yep. And then, okay, so then there's this, balancing act of recognizing what's not working so that you can do something about it, but not letting yourself get stuck in that trap of negativity, that loop of like, victim mindset, or things aren't working out. And so you're just getting stuck in the frustration of that. So this is going to be like the tightrope walk of like, okay, I recognize it, I'm going to do something about it. This sucks. I'm having an emotional reaction to it because it's not going the way I wanted to, but like stay focused, right? Stay focused on the goal, stay focused on the outcome. And that's a tricky sentence. I know it is. It's like in my business, outcome oriented healing. The outcome is not always what you might think it's going to be. The outcome is a feeling, right? So stay focused on the outcome of the feeling of what it is that you want, as opposed to what you think it might look like. Because sometimes things can turn out way better than what you thought they might look like. But either way, the feeling of accomplishment or the feeling of peace or the feeling of whatever feeling it is that you want your outcome to be, that's the actual outcome. So stay focused on that, okay? So recognize the things that you can change or need tweaking or adjustments or whatever. Work through the overwhelm. There will be some overwhelm, and that's okay. It's just part of life sometimes. And I love that this is what we're moving into, because we've got the Four of Cups here, which is so beautiful, where something is maybe just going along, and you're like maybe on autopilot, or you're maybe juggling all of these balls in the air at once and feeling overwhelmed, and something just comes out of nowhere like a gift from the heavens, and it's like just what you need at just the right time. So something like this is coming up probably close to the beginning of October, maybe first week or second week. Very, very cool. Okay. And again, this reminds you, when this happens, this reminds you of who you are, Taurus, right? You have this tremendous amount of strength. Taurus, you guys are strong like the bull, right? You have this immense capacity to be strong, and to just bulldoze things at times, but you also have this gentle inner peace type strength as well, right? And so things can be chaotic and crazy and frustrating and overwhelming, but when you're calm, you guys are very magical. When Taurus is just like calm and peaceful and feeling like, you know, well, when you feel like things are going your way, right? You guys are probably, you know, on the higher end of stubborn. And so when things are not going your way, that tends to heighten your anxiety. But when things are going your way, you have this sense of calm. So that's likely the outcome that you're probably going to be going for. And this is the balancing act. Okay, so let's pull some more and get more information here. Knight of Rods. So yes, moving forward in your business. There's something overwhelming in your businesses or your work that just feels like either you have so many options to choose from, or you have so many balls in the air at once, or you're having so many thoughts about something and trying to juggle it all. But there's definitely an accomplishment and moving forward with this business accomplishment. Yep. This is typically the card that comes up. Okay, so when I was talking about the Seven of Cups earlier, and I was saying this feeling of overwhelm, and there was a card in my mind that I was seeing, it was this one, Ten of Rods. These two often go hand in hand together just because it makes sense for them to, and so obviously the universe is going to speak in this way. When you're feeling overwhelmed and like you've got too many balls in the air or whatever, you're taking on too big of a burden. This is what I was saying before. Delegate what you can, ask for help where you can, where you need to, and allow people to help you. Allow yourself to ask for help and get the help that you need, because there's a feeling of taking on too much or taking on more than your share of the workload or whatever, and that's what's kind of going to contribute to that negativity loop of like, you know, like, just, you know how some people at work, they can just be like, you know, I always get these cases and I always do this and I always, no, like that yappy, just like complainers, right? We've all probably been there at some point in our lives, if not several times in our lives. But that's what this card kind of represents. It's like focusing on the negative. That's not going to be productive for you guys. And you know it, but it still happens sometimes. That's fine. So what this is saying is, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like you're taking on too big of a load, it's time to delegate, to ask for help, to let people do the things that you know they can do to lighten your load. Yep. Okay. So yeah. I'm going to go for the next ones anyways, just because. Nice. Nice. Okay, so yeah, there's lots of ups and downs. Okay, so, and you know, I said this for Aries too, and I'm only on Taurus, which is the next one after Aries. So I've got the rest of the zodiac to go still, but I think this is going to be coming up for probably every sign, something related to Pluto going direct. And sure enough, it is. So Pluto went retrograde back in May, and it goes direct October 3rd, beginning of October, right? And so it's all about transformation. Pluto's all about transformation. And with transformation comes ups and downs, lots of ups and downs. And so we're still working with some of this. Okay, so as you feel overwhelmed, as you feel like you're taking on more of the workload than you need to be or should be or want to be, and things start feeling like they're not going your way because you're trying to juggle too many things all at once and your load is too heavy and you need to lighten your load, but you don't want to ask for help, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to delegate. It's okay to lighten your load. It's okay to prioritize. And it's okay to grieve the process of having to do that. I know that might sound strange at first, but grief is a profound thing. And it happens, and like the need for it to happen is far more vast than what we typically consciously think of. Like, number one, when we think of grief, we think of the loss of a loved one. Someone's passed away. The loss of a pet, the loss of a relationship, the loss of... These are the big obvious things, right? But grieving is also completely necessary when we are letting go of our load, right? Like, there's a little teeny tiny tinge, and maybe it's big for some people, but there's at least a small part of all of us that when we accept the fact that we have this huge load that we're carrying and we want to be able to do it all, and if we have to delegate something to someone else or we have to ask for help, a little bit of us feels like a failure to some degree. Like, I wasn't able to do this. I needed help. And a little teeny tiny part of us, at least, if not a huge part of us sometimes, feels not good enough, not able, not capable to have done things that were unrealistic to begin with anyways. So allow yourself a little bit of time, and it doesn't take much time, to acknowledge that and to grieve that, right? That you're not perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. That you can't do unreasonable tasks, right? Because you can't, nobody can. So a little bit of grief is coming up in here as well, right? But there's gratitude that comes with it because it's connected to this thing that just kind of comes out of nowhere, like a gift from the heavens. So grief and gratitude can sometimes go hand in hand in that way. And that looks like that's coming up. And this is a new physical beginning for you as well, right? We've got the Ace of Pentacles. So this is part of your transformation that you've been making with Pluto retrograde. And as Pluto goes direct, then you're moving forward with whatever you've learned about this transformation that you're making. You're moving forward with the steps, getting clarity on the steps that you need to take to make this transformation or to complete it, to move forward with it. And this is like new beginning for you, right? New financial beginning, new emotional beginning, lightening your load, and then grieving along the way the fact that you couldn't do things that were unreasonable to begin with anyways, and gratitude for getting help, right? It's such a funny dichotomy, right? Like not feeling good enough for having to ask for help and then being grateful because you get help. It's okay. It's totally okay. It's part of the transformation. And it's moving you towards happiness. This is what's really, really nice. It's moving you towards happiness. So you are spiritually supported in this transformation. The same thing came up for Aries. I think this is going to be a common theme for most signs anyways because we have Pluto going direct. You are spiritually supported in this transformation. You are moving towards happiness. This is the happily ever after card. So as you grieve and let go of the things that are no longer working in your life, the things that you're transforming and letting go of, getting clarity on what it is that needs to end. This is all part of Pluto going direct, having been retrograde and then going direct, getting clarity on what it is that needs to end. There's a grieving process, and then there's kind of a happily ever after and gratitude afterwards. So there's also an indication here of a need to mind your mindset, to nurture your thoughts. So be aware of if you find yourself starting to bitch about things or complain about things in your mind, then it's telling you something, right? It's telling you that something may be more important to you or not important to you, and you need to focus on how to shift that, right? What is it that needs to be let go of, and what is it that needs to be shifted? And what is it that you're feeding yourself intellectually, right? Are you watching the news and getting stressed out? If that's not effective for you, then stop doing it. That's something that needs to end, right? Like getting clarity on what it is that needs to end. Or if you're listening to certain people who are giving you advice, who are maybe not the people who need to be giving you, who you need to be getting advice from, right? Then you can let that go. You can have that conversation of like, I'm not going to be taking advice from you on whatever topic it is because I want to go to somebody who's been successful in that area. Again, like nurturing yourself intellectually. If you've got people feeding you negative things, whether it's the news or friends or family or loved ones or podcasts or whatever, then you can shut that off and be like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. That's not beneficial to the outcome that I want. Oh, Taurus, of course. I knew it. It's so interesting. I can see, okay, well, this is good. Okay, so Taurus, we all know we're stubborn, right? And we all know that Pluto is like all about transformation now. We've been talking about this since May, since it's been retrograde. So we've got the death card, which signifies endings, right? Getting clear on what it is that needs to end, right? So, but part of you, because Taurus can be so stubborn sometimes and just hold tightly to things that they think are important, that they think are going to bring comfort to them, because Taurus is very much about comfort. And it's difficult for us to step out of our comfort zone, and letting go of something is hugely stepping out of your comfort zone for a Taurus. So again, there's going to be this feeling of not wanting to let go of something that actually needs to end. And that's okay. It's a process that you're going to be working through. You have support from Pluto going direct with this, right? Pluto is bringing this transformation forward for you. So you're supported in doing it, and it is a physical accomplishment for you. Like you will physically feel different as you make this transformation. Yeah, again, like with this whole Pluto retrograde and going direct thing, like this is not easy work. Transformation is not easy work, and you guys are doing it, and it can feel overwhelming, and asking for help is important. Lightening your load is important. Allowing yourself to grieve whatever it is that is coming to an end for you is important. And again, it's a general reading, so this will manifest differently for different people, but asking for help is important, and being able to receive it, because you have something amazing coming out of nowhere, like a gift from the heavens, which is whatever exact help it is that you need in the right moment. So gratitude comes with that as well. You're spiritually supported, and yes, we all know this. This is probably the story of your lives to a large degree, not wanting to let go of something that needs to be let go of. But Taurus, you're working through this, and I see it happening, and this really indicates an accomplishment for having let go of whatever it is that you're not wanting to let go of. Okay, romance card for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for October. Taurus, past life relationship. You have known each other before. Very cool. Okay, so again, general reading. This is going to apply differently for different people. So for those of you just meeting somebody, there's a chance that you may feel like you've likely known this person before. There can be a past life connection here. For those of you who are already in an established relationship, then you may be having things coming up where you're like, okay, so this can be tricky, and again, it's going to manifest differently for different people. So there may be amazing things that come up where you're like, wow, this is so shocking, this connection. You've likely known each other before. depending on how long you've been in the relationship with each other or how deep you've gotten with the relationship, there may be things coming up that are triggering to you, that are starting to bother you, which may be related to past life situations as well. But either way, very cool. Past life connections. You've known each other before. Okay, so your 72 Names of God card. Oh, this deck is so tricky to shuffle because it's kind of small. But this is one of my favorite decks. Okay. What name does Taurus need for October? There we go. Freedom. Beautiful. I perceive the balance and harmony that fills all creation, especially in the hardships, challenges, and tests that I know I must face throughout life. Again, this is, for Taurus, one of the hardest things is letting go of certain things, and especially, you know, when something needs to end. That's one of the biggest challenges. Okay, so I perceive the balance and harmony. And again, this is really interesting. I think I might do, we'll see. Stay tuned. I might do a video on Pluto going direct because it's going direct. Oh no, that's in Capricorn. Right now we have the new moon in Libra. I knew Libra was in there somewhere. So the new moon just happened in Libra, which is about balance, finding balance in emotions, and maybe I'll do a video on that too. I could just do videos for the rest of my life, 24/7, right? Because there's that much going on. I perceive the balance and harmony that fills all creation, especially in the hardships, challenges, and tests that I now must face throughout life. With the power of this name, I arouse the strength to pass all those tests, to rise to a higher level of being, and to gain the joy and fulfillment that accompany true spiritual transformation. What were we just talking about? Transformation. I unlock the chains of ego and achieve freedom. Yeah, this is huge, Taurus, for you guys, because you guys can be so stubborn and solid and unmovable, right? You can be unmovable in certain ways, but when you unlock the chains of ego and achieve freedom, like by letting this go, whatever it is, that getting clarity with, thanks to Pluto going direct, getting clarity on what it is that needs to end, and allowing yourself to let go of it and to grieve that process if you need to, is a huge physical accomplishment for you and really provides a massive amount of freedom. Okay, I'm happy for you guys, Taurus. This is not easy work, and I commend all of you who are doing the work. Hang in there. I think October is going to be a good month. I think overall for most people, I think we're going to feel a little bit lighter at some point throughout the month. Okay, I will see you guys soon.